installe comme il faut. Hein.
As things get into a safe configuration, then we will disarm the escape system on Dragon, and we'll move the
Miner.
crew access arm back around the
Miner.
spacecraft. So right
Comme dans
now,
Minecraft.
we got down
Une
to
pioche pour aller.
inside 17 minutes. The hardware was
Dans
working
17
very well on
minutes,
both
il y a
Dragon
la
and
fusée de
Axertar.
SpaceX qui
We
s'envole.
had the fuel loading going
Donc
on.
j'ai
We
le
had
live
liquid
là.
oxygen loading going on, everything but second
Attends.
stage. And the weather just
Quoi?
needed a little bit more time
Ouais.
to clear the conditions. We per the safety
Quoi?
rules that we have for this flight. So right now the team is undergoing the post-scrub operations on both Dragon as well as Falcon 9, working with the range. No issues being reported right now as we start to go through that. Dress rehearsal, but sorry, we just couldn't get there, Dan.
Ouais. Ouais, je suis là. Attends, du coup, je me pose sur le live de... Ouais, et pourquoi toi tu streams là? Tu streams quoi du coup? Ah, tu vas faire une vidéo réaction? Ouais, un live réaction ou une vidéo réaction, c'est bon. T'as combien de viewers? Ah, nice. Sur le live de... Ah, je vais voler une voiture de policier. Ah, bigre. Alors, ouais, moi j'aimerais bien réussir. Alors déjà, je vais faire tous les trucs sur Fort Closure. Là. Bon appétit. We're going to continue and follow along with Bob and Doug until they're out of that capsule, as again they had started loading fuel onto the Falcon 9 rocket, so they'll have to wait until all that fuel comes off, disarm the launch escape system, which still stays armed because they're still sitting on a partially loaded rocket, and then once they're able to disarm that launch escape system, the crew arm will swing back out, they'll make their way once again back the way they came. Le quoi que j'ai sur moi, t'as dit? For Bob and Doug for a few more days. Ah ouais. Genre, après, je pourrais le revendre des milliers en mode ce t-shirt a vu le lancement de la fusée de Musk. But if you're just now tuning in, wondering why we're not still counting down, we did have a launch scrub today. We were just a little under 17 minutes. Fuel flow rates are nominal for offload. Putain. Expecting about a 40-minute offload time. Oh, putain. Nom du club. Attends, mec. Oh, les QG, ça coûte cher. Dans mon QG, je vais l'appeler... je vais l'appeler LOL. T. Bon, ou alors le gang des papillons verts. Mais ça, c'est l'inquiéteur aussi. Non, mais attends. Non. Le gang... Oh, je sais. Le gang des... pas très... Ah non, merde. Le gang pas gentil. Attends. Le gang des méchants. Le gang pas gentil. And a lot of the stuff that we saw today is going to look very similar, but we're just going to have to try again, cross our fingers, hope for a little bit better weather the next time. Voilà, mon gang s'appelle le gang pas gentil. Le gang pas gentil. Ah là là, armurerie.
Ah bah ouais, on a une armurerie, attends, atelier moto. Bah ouais, atelier moto, mon gars, attends. Acheter 1 300 000, bah c'est bon, j'ai assez. Bah ouais. Là, c'est le repère. Repère plus un repère indique. Laissez de votre QRG sur le GPS. Ok, bah du coup, maintenant, j'ai mon QG.
And just a reminder for everyone still tuned in, it takes about 40 minutes for all of this propellant to come off of the Falcon 9. And while
Vous êtes maintenant le président du club du gang des pas gentils. Je sais, mais mec, j'adore ce nom. Non, c'est le gang pas gentil. Ouais, j'avais pas la place. Ouais, mais j'avais pas la place. J'ai le seum. Le gang pas gentil.
But if you're just now tuning in,
oui.
No launch today. We did have to scrub because of weather. We're going to be moving to our second attempt.
C'est maintenant président d'un club de motards, sectionné président. Ouais, bon, bref. Ouais, et mon club de motards, il s'appelle le gang pas gentil. Mais ouais, sinon j'aurais pu écrire le gang des pas gentils, mais avec plein de fautes d'orthographe dégueulasses, pour vraiment faire gamin, tu sais. Nous, on est le gang des pas gentils. On va te casser la tête. On va te mettre des pissenettes et on va faire des canulars téléphoniques. Quoi? Quoi? Ouais, on va sonner aux portes et on va partir en courant. Et ouais. Et ouais. Par contre, il m'a coûté ultra cher le QG, donc le QG c'est pour toujours. On est d'accord? Ok. Oh, sérieux?
Up until the point of the scrub, we had a really clean countdown. Weren't tracking any issues with Falcon 9 or the Dragon spacecraft, so always a good thing to see.
Ah, c'est bizarre parce que j'ai reçu l'argent du pack, mais j'ai pas eu le truc. Bah, non, mais c'est pas grave. Mais je l'ai payé, maintenant c'est trop tard.
That's one of those rules where we need a certain amount of time if we're in a violation. In this case,
nominal, roughly 50% on stage 1 locks in fuel, 85% on stage 2 fuel.
So the propellant offload on Falcon 9 continuing to go well.
But we need a little bit more time to be able to clear that launch weather constraint. Ah ouais. Et tu veux que je te recrute dans mon gang de pas gentils?
We hope for better weather coming up on Saturday. Where again, our next launch attempt is going to be at 3:22 p.m. Eastern time, and we'll be able to go through everything. I mean, we saw them get suited up. They had a great ride out to the pad. All of their initial checks on both the suits with pressure checks and communication checks went well. Able to get the Dragon hatch closed, the launch escape system arm, and Falcon 9 started its fueling. Just not able to make a good weather window today.
And as John I said earlier, it was just another great rehearsal today. I don't think you
Mec, c'est trop bien le gang des motards.
Practice doing this. So when Saturday comes, or the day that we can actually launch the vehicle, Bob and Doug and the NASA and SpaceX team are fully prepared with just an extra rehearsal on the belt now.
On pourrait faire du trafic sur Internet.
The weather is a lot more complex when we're launching humans. You have some more stringent requirements in place, not only around the pad, but in the case of this launch today, we're also looking at whether the entire ascent corridor, as we call it, so basically the entire way that
Vas-y, moi je vais à l'ordi, je vais aller pirater Patrick.
We're monitoring that weather because those are areas that if they have an ascent abort, or basically Dragon firing off of the Falcon 9 while they're flying into space, we have to make sure that conditions are good in the sea states around those areas, just so they're not going
J'arrive
to
pas à utiliser ordi.
in the middle of a hurricane, which we did have a tropical storm forming right off the coast of South Carolina today, just to help complicate things a little bit.
And people might be asking, if we knew the weather was going to be a little iffy today, why continue to count down? Well, that is the reason why we do all these checks all the way to
Wow.
count down. In Florida, the weather is,
J'ai encore
you know,
plein de
pretty
beaucoup
sporadic.
d'argent.
Sometimes a
Ah ouais, je
thunderstorm
peux faire des
or
faux
hurricane will
papiers.
pass through within 20 minutes
Ah
it's gone,
ouais,
and we could
il y a
have
des
blue
fermes de
skies for
cannabis, il y a
a
de la
safe
fausse
launch.
monnaie, il y a de la méthamphétamine,
As
il y a
we
de la
continue as
cocaïne.
scheduled, standard procedure
Wow.
again to just continue to monitor weather all the way down to the last minutes of the count, and we see what happens. So today, unfortunately, we did scrub for weather, but we will attempt again this Saturday on May 30th.
And Dan, Jesse, a couple of things to add on there. Right now we are 11 minutes after the scrub was called.
Ok, vas-y,
Liquid oxygen and
je vais faire un truc de
fuel coming off the
fausse
fuel
monnaie.
stage. Hard to tell from the view. It's still a little misty around the tank because there's lots
Vas-y,
of
j'ai eu un lieu de production de fausse monnaie.
between half and a third of each of the fuel and LOX tanks filled on the first stage.
Ouais, t'inquiète.
So,
Tu me dis quand il reste une minute.
Right per
Okay.
plan. The second stage fuel tank is offloading. That's going slower, but it's also a smaller tank. It doesn't take very long to either load it or to offload it.
Attends,
The other thing that we're working on is the high
Usine de
pressure
fausse
helium
monnaie.
spheres,
Ouais,
as well as the nitrogen
faux
spheres
papier.
for the landing leg system.
Ouais, cannabis, ça
The
coûte
pressure
un
will
peu
be brought
cher.
down on those, eventually getting it
Méthamphétamine.
down low enough,
la
to
mettre, c'est
where
cher.
people can re-enter the pad area. So right now the team is preparing. Once they get permission, the
Total des gains, 0 $. Tout de gain. Taux de réussite, deuxièmement, taux de... C'est quoi cette merde? Ah, mais si on n'a pas de stock et tout, bah oui, bah forcément. Glon Senora Desert. Bah dis-moi quand c'est dans une minute. Bon, bah j'arrive. Attends, tu sais quoi, je vais aller sur... Ouais, mais je vais carrément aller sur YouTube, tu vois, genre, je regardais par, tu sais, la petite fenêtre Discord depuis tout à l'heure. Là, je vais carrément aller sur YouTube.
So this is the very first
Ah.
flight of a new first stage and a new second stage. So we haven't even gotten through the first flight. And in all of our margin calculations, we also take into account
Regarde mon commentaire.
scrub a launch. So even today's operation where we
Bah regarde-le.
we stress the vehicle a little bit.
Mais qu'attends, c'est en mode lent là, regarde le commentaire.
Design and our qualification testing. The other good thing
Attends,
is
remonte un
the,
peu.
most stressing part,
Cherche
of
mon
the
com.
flight for, the Falcon 9
Regarde ce que
on the
j'ai dit.
first stage is the re-entry. So we didn't even
Mais
get through that. So we're
si,
sitting here
même moi j'arrive à le retrouver facile.
it's a fairly straightforward situation and not stressing.
Monte un tout petit peu, c'est vraiment pas très haut.
And on the Dragon spacecraft, with the human rating factors to carry crew, there is enough factors of safety, margins of safety, redundancy, that just having two people on board and closing the hatch and even pressurizing the propellant system does not eat into the margins of the
Offloads
vehicle
continue nominally, 30% on stage 1
So
lock.
right now,
Ouais,
everything's
attends.
continuing to offload. The
Je t'appelle Axertar.
that we use routinely, both at the launch sites, Kennedy Space Center, Cape Canaveral, even Vandenberg Air Force Base, as well as in our Texas test site for
Je suis en train de vérifier tous les A.
Those sequences are running. Propellant is coming off of the vehicle per
Ouais.
plan. And we see Bob and Doug.
Ouais, mais je lis tous les pseudos qui apparaissent.
Just waiting when we can get up there, open the hatch.
Ouais, vas-y, écris un truc pour voir. Écris un long message, comme ça j'ai un peu le temps
And
de...
the other thought I had, Dan and Jesse, is right now we are coming up on what would have been T0, and I'm wondering 10 minutes from now whether the weather officer would turn around and say,
T'as marqué GT?
turned good. You just didn't have a long enough window. We only had 1 second and we needed 10 minutes.
GT.
We'll have to ask offline and say, hey, did the weather conditions improve? And one thing I'll
Yeah.
that Dan was mentioning and Jesse was talking about the launch
Je le vois pas.
opportunities. the launch window does move earlier on Saturday a little bit. So it just happened to be Orbital Dynamics said today, if you want to go to the International Space Station and you want to launch northeast, which is the approved trajectory, you have to go right at 4:33, 35.
S'il faut, après on la verra dans le ciel, tu vois.
You pick another day, the T0 moves. It's just luck of the draw. We might have been doing this
Laisse-moi avec mon espoir.
8 in the morning when we were getting lightning, or we could have been doing it a few hours from now when conditions may have been acceptable. So, in the end, we
Il reste combien de temps là?
Isaac Newton and Johannes
Attends, il reste combien de temps? Attends,
Orbital Dynamics
qualité.
telling us when to
Attends mec, c'est la NASA, ils sont pas foutus du 1080p là, oh.
of bad weather. So there's my science lesson.
Putain, ils ont dit la NASA, c'est quoi?
Appreciate that, John. That helps soften the blow of just moving past that.
Il reste combien de temps?
But for anybody, if you're just now tuning in, wondering
Ah,
why Falcon 9 is
une
still
minute.
sitting there on the pad as we move past that T0, we did have a
Ah, il y a
scrub
des mecs qui
weather
commencent à
today.
demander si c'est pas annulé.
Just not able to clear all of those constraints. We keep a very
ah.
close eye.
Ouais, mec, j'ai vu apparaître le Wither Scrub, je croyais que c'était parti. Oh,
Right now,
ouais, ça a fait bip.
Dragon, go ahead for weather.
Yeah, I just wanted to give you some more
Ouais,
words
ouais.
on the scrub
Attends.
rationale. Yeah, so we basically scrubbed due to three
Wow.
rules that we were violating. All three would have been expected to clear 10 minutes after our T0 time. And those three were natural lightning, the field mills, and the attached anvil.
Merde, attends, faut que j'aille sur Google Traduction que Attends. Bon, voyage en anglais.
Copy, Jay. We appreciate that update. We
Good chip.
some,
Control C.
on the windows and,
C'est bon, je suis là.
whatever it was too close to the launch pad at the time.
Voilà, c'est bon. Et dès que le truc se lance, j'appuie sur entrée. Ils liront jamais le commentaire, mais au moins, ça me booste. Mec, c'est trop bien. Attends, mec, il est 35. Le ciel est beau. Il n'y aura aucune turbulence. Attachez vos ceintures.
And yeah, we concur.
On est parti pour quelques mois.
Appreciate your resilience
Oh.
sitting there in the vehicle for us.
Ah, il a son masque.
We got the easy job. Nothing better than being prime crew on a new spaceship.
Oh, Pierre. Pierre. Imagine, genre, les mecs, ils ont le corona, mais ils le savent pas. Et genre, quand ils reviennent sur Terre, plus personne n'a le corona, ils le refilent à tout le monde.
Feeling good inside Dragon, they'll be ready to go when we make our next attempt.
Ah ouais, pas con.
Right now, we're just still waiting for all of the fuel to come off the Falcon 9 rocket. After
Stage 1
that,
LOX and fuel roughly 20%, and stage 2 fuel 36%.
and so that call right there, we're still at a little over 20% on fuel, RP1, and LOX, liquid oxygen on the first stage, and then at about 26% on RP1 on that second stage. So again, it takes about 40 minutes once the process starts. So we should
Ah, c'est pas la fusée qui peut se reposer toute seule.
until all that
Il
fuel's
fait,
off,
c'est ça.
and then the crew will get the go
Mec,
to
attends, ça
disarm
fait-
the launch escape system.
c'est quoi ce bruit?
We'll see that crew access arm swing back into place, and they can begin to egress or get out of the Dragon spacecraft.
You heard it.
Ouais, mais attends, mec, des fois, les montres, elles ont quelques minutes de décalage entre elles.
Violated. We were just 10 minutes off, unfortunately, but again, today was an instantaneous.
What the fuck, c'est quoi cet emoji? Ah, ok,
As
d'accord.
John explained, it's due to the orbital mechanics and making sure that at the time we launch, it will allow us to get to the space station on time and accurately. So you can see on your right screen, Bob and Doug are patiently waiting. They do still have their visors on and still strapped into their seats.
Attends, c'est
The
quoi?
launch escape system is still armed
Hop.
right now as we are offloading fuel and will not disarm until prop
Ouais.
offload is complete. And this is just to ensure the safety of Bob and Doug and make sure that they can egress safely from the rocket.
S'il faut, là, dans GTA, je suis en train de me faire tuer par 400 mecs.
We're gonna be right back here, looking like on Saturday for attempt number 2. Launch America is not going anywhere. Still on the track to get Bob and Doug into space.
Mec,
Get
attends, ils
this
sont
Crew
toujours pas
Dragon
partis
to the
là.
International Space Station. So it's always good. If you're gonna scrub, probably rather scrub for weather than an issue on either Falcon 9 or Dragon. And we weren't tracking any issues with the flight systems throughout our countdown today. Everything passed with leak checks on the hatches.
Vas-y, je suis jeté.
All the communications working great. All the teams were ready to go. So, as John and I said, always nice to have a little bit more practice, and we'll be right back at it on Saturday.
What would this launch be if it wasn't even more exciting to try?
Ok, faut que j'aille voler des motos.
Really got to build the suspense.
Yes. So.
Hey, Dan and Jesse, another thought crossed my mind while I'm watching the diagram here showing fuel is just about off. First and second stage we're down under 10%. LOX is also just about off.
Mec, c'est quand ça se lance?
Yep, we're getting the announcement. Stage 2 fuels at 20%,
Oh.
Stage 1 LOX is under 10%. So just continuing to come off of the vehicle.
Ça se passe ou pas? Ah, poussière.
On the monitor, Bob and Doug continue
Ah.
visors down. Their launch escape system is armed,
Ah,
as we
un nouveau
mentioned.
pouce bleu.
If
Attention.
there is anything that
Tu sais, c'est là les mecs qui te font
right
à 10 millions de pouces bleus, on décolle.
pad abort means something that we demonstrated way back in 2015 on one of these webcasts when we fired the Dragon capsule using the 8 Super Dracos off of the launch pad and it splashed down offshore in the Atlantic Ocean. So they're staying there with the system armed until all the hazards are essentially removed and we bring the crew access on.
Merde, il y a quelqu'un qui veut se battre. Il y a des gens qui me courent après.
We're standing by a minute.
Mais il y a le train qui arrive. Ouais, t'inquiète. Il y a le train qui arrive, ils vont se faire renverser par le tram. Attends, dis-moi qu'ils sont écrasés. Oh non, ils veulent pas se faire écraser. Attends, je pense que je peux voler le train, non? Je peux pas voler le train.
If you're just now tuning in,
En tout cas, j'ai fraudé.
we did have a scrub because of weather, but as we were saying, we are looking forward to
Qu'est-ce qu'il y a?
doing this again on Saturday. Our launch time on Saturday will be another instantaneous window, so we'll have to have the weather cooperate again. And that launch time will be at 3:22 p.m. Eastern.
Bon, vas-y, moi en attendant, je prends le tram.
Put us at about 40% probability of
Ah, mais
violation.
qu'est-ce qu'ils font?
Yeah, Dan, what I saw coming out of the Air Force was 40% probability of violation, I believe. It's always tough because they report in terms of violation, and the optimists have to...
Ça a été annulé?
To go, hey, 60% chance, I'll plan
Attends. Attends.
The SpaceX launch director, Mike Taylor, was talking to the launch weather officer asking about the 3 criteria that scrubbed us today. It sounds like in another minute or two, the lightning and the attached anvil cloud rules will clear. The field mill rule, charge in the atmosphere, is still bouncing around, and so, hey, we may need several more minutes before that one would clear. So we'd need even longer than 10 minutes in the
Ah, moi, ils ont carrément lagué.
That brings up what I wanted to mention a little while ago.
Ah ouais, non, c'est juste qu'ils bougent à peine.
But there are a lot of folks who are going, why an instantaneous launch window for Falcon 9?
Grave.
Now, typically when we go to the space station, when we do the mission planning, it's an instantaneous window. There may be enough performance in the rocket to launch somewhere in a 5-minute period, but you've got to pick a time in there. But in the case of Falcon 9, once we start propellant load at T-minus 35 minutes, it doesn't matter so much if you can move 5 or 10 minutes left or right, because the whole sequence is scripted. We do the flight analysis assuming that the temperatures of the propellants are below a certain amount so that we know how much performance is available to the rocket, how much margin we're going to have. So essentially, if you start the countdown, 4 hours, 8 hours out like we were doing today, then you have a very short window. Once you get into propellant loading at T-minus 35 minutes, you have to go as soon as you get to 0. We don't have the ability to stop the countdown, wait 5 minutes, Now all of a sudden the liquid oxygen starts warming up from
C'est les mecs qui te mettent
440
fit
degrees
la
Celsius
SNCF
in
dans
the
le
ground
titre.
system.
Oh,
That
wesh!
changes how much
Mec, je viens de faire un
performance
bug.
you get carrying into orbit, and we don't
Genre,
wanna
en
cut
gros,
it
je me mets
short.
entre le train à l'arrêt
If we had had something like a
et le
4-hour
truc
window with
sur le petit
some,
rebord et en tombant. Et
communication
genre, mon
satellites
perso, il se met à tourner
we
très très
could
vite
actually get
sur
down
lui-même
almost
en
zero,
volant.
hold the count,
Genre, il est projeté et il
attack
se
the
met à tourner
Falcon
ultra
9,
vite.
wait a while, it takes us about an hour and a half, reload a whole new batch of cold liquid oxygen and fuel from the big
Mais
storage
qu'est-ce qu'ils
tank that
font?
we've got there at pad 39A and try to launch again. But in that case, you have to be able to launch, about an hour and a half or
1
so
million
later
people,
after you
Jesus.
scrub. And in the case of the International Space Station, an hour and a half from now, it's nowhere near where we need to be to
Dragon
get to
SpaceX
orbit
for
with the
status.
performance of the Falcon 9 and the Dragon. So today, it's a combination. We start the day
SpaceX
with
Dragon,
a
go ahead.
1-second window.
Yeah, just informing you, it's
But
been
once
2
we
hours.
get
Qu'est-ce qu'il y a?
inside of 35 minutes, it becomes an instantaneous
Ah, t'es
window
avec
for the
tes
Falcon
A là.
9, regardless of what the customer may be able
Wesh.
to give us. So there's
Ah
a
bah
little
d'accord.
explanation for folks who are wondering why we have such a tight window.
Okay,
Right now, it looks like
recapping,
we are
well, then it's
bringing
just
the
the
last bits
comfort
of
level,
fuel
I would
off of
say,
the
is
stage,
just about what
and
we'd
liquid
expect. So I
oxygen
think,
is just about off of the
just the
stage.
standard stuff, but
So
not too bad
things
at all.
are clocking right along per the 40-minute
Copy all.
timeline. Everything looks good, and we'll wait to hear that we're clear, and then when we get the call for Bob and Doug to go ahead and disarm, launch escape system, and the crew access arm will watch come back out, center itself around the Dragon hatch, and then the ingress team will go up there and open the hatch.
Thank you for the science lesson, John I.
Hey, no charge.
Much appreciated.
We did hear a quick call to the crew there. We should be just under 10 minutes away from that prop offload completing. It looks like we're just tracking
Stage
the
2 fuel
RP1.
offload is complete.
And there we have the confirmation. Stage 2 offload's complete. And we should have now just the RP1, so that densified propellant, or the RP1 is kerosene. We should be under 10%, a little under 10 minutes until that's off. And then we'll step through those events we were discussing, where they'll be able to disarm the launch escape system, get the arm back out there, and Bob and Doug can begin to exit the Dragon spacecraft. Still not the friendliest skies in the background.
That is Florida, though. The weather is constantly changing over there, which is why we always have to keep an eye on it through every single launch that we have out there. The Doug are patiently waiting. As you can see, that is a live view of them on the Crew Dragon vehicle as they're waiting prop offload to complete. Second stage prop offload is complete. We are just waiting on first stage to
Stage 1
complete.
box offload is complete. Waiting on stage 1 fuel, roughly 5 minutes or so.
And again, the launch escape system is still armed. We are waiting for a prop offload to complete before they disarm that, and then they will be able to egress from the Crew Dragon vehicle.
We just heard we should be just under 5 minutes away from the last of that fuel coming out of the Falcon 9 first stage.
5
We'll
minutes.
see those events start to pick back up, and we'll see the crew arm swing back out. They've been in those seats for a couple
Ah
of
ouais,
hours
merde.
now. They typically get
Ah, en vrai, il y a masse de
inside
gens
the
qui ont dû
Dragon
être déçus.
a little over 2.5 hours ahead of launch, so they've been strapped into these seats for quite a while. They are custom sized though, so they're as comfortable and as snug as possible. Obviously, since they're going to be in them for a really long time, but most importantly, when you're doing that splashdown at the very end of the mission, it's your car seat, and splashing down or landing on land is not the most gentle of procedures in a capsule.
Ouais.
So just really making sure that they're snug inside of that Dragon capsule. But we should be a little under 5 minutes away from the prop offload being completed.
And as Dan mentioned, those suits are custom made, but the seats are also custom fit for each astronaut as well. They do remain on Crew Dragon for this mission for almost 24 hours
Ah, je suis à Los
so
Santos.
we do want to make sure that they are comfortable and make sure that the suits and the seats are comfortable enough for them to stay in that position for a while. I believe when they get into orbit, they are allowed to
Qu'est-ce qu'il y a?
get out of their seats and get a little bit more comfortable, but it's
Ça
a
fait...
long ride for them.
Yeah, once they do get on orbit, they are able to get out of the seats,
Ah ouais.
actually out of their suits too, since for this flight path today, they
Mec, là, ils sont en
take
train de
about
faire
19
un
hours.
sieste,
So
quoi.
Bob and Doug would actually have had about 8 hours to sleep on board the Dragon capsule. So we weren't able to launch today.
Imagine les mecs, ils éternuent, ils miscliquent, et ils sont baisés. Genre, ils font lancer la fusée trop tôt, ou ils font une fausse manip.
So they'll launch and they'll have a number of different events that we'll be able to walk you through, including manual piloting of Dragon and just really putting the spacecraft through all of the paces before it arrives at the International Space Station. Because again, this is a test flight, and this is this last test before we certify the Dragon spacecraft for regular crewed flights, which will just be bringing up those long duration, 6-month, maybe even a year-long missions.
Right. And it should be a very exciting test flight because it's pretty much like an actual mission. When Bob and Doug get on the station, they will be performing some research while they're up there and performing tests and doing some final things for this demonstration mission.
But I mean, just for right now, we are just going to continue to stay with them until we see them come out of Dragon, because the launch escape system's still armed while we wait for this propellant offload to complete. That's just done as a safety measure. Anytime you have rocket propellants beneath you, you want to make sure that we have a good way for them to get out of the way. And so we should be within just a couple of minutes for that final bit of RP1 coming off the first stage, and then we'll hear the crew get the go to disarm that launch escape system. We'll see the crew access arm.
Ah, mais du coup, il y a 2 mecs qui vont mourir.
Tuning in, expecting them to be in space. We did have a scrub today due to weather. Our next launch attempt is going to be this Saturday, May 20th at 3:22 p.m. Eastern Time. And just like we did today, we're going to be bringing you every single step of the way. It's going to look a little familiar if you watched all of today's, but it's going to be just as exciting.
I can imagine it might even be more exciting with all the anticipation that we've hyped this launch up for, with already going through it all today. But again, the more practice we have, the better off we will be. Hopefully next launch attempt we will have a flawless launch and actually be able to lift off with
To license, yes.
Yeah, weather is going to be the big thing that we'll continue to watch. That was the culprit today for our scrub. And our initial weather reports already looking at about a 40% probability of violation. So as John and I was saying, the optimists in us have to say that's 60% good. So we're going to look at the good side of this, and that's roughly what we were in the days leading up to this. We won't have a rogue tropical storm forming off of South Carolina on us on Saturday, but Florida weather will always be dynamic, so we'll just continue to track and hopefully get a good chance hit that window on Saturday.
And just a reminder, everything else on the vehicle and for the mission was looking good today. It was just the weather, which, as John I said earlier, and Lauren even referred to him mentioning this, weather is the one thing that we actually cannot control on our missions. So unfortunately, it did cause us to scrub today, but the vehicles are healthy. Bob and Doug were ready, and they should be ready to go again with the next launch attempt on Saturday.
Just looking at our data, it looks like that RP1 is just about all out. So we'll just kind of stand by for a few more moments. Hopefully we get that call soon, John I.
Yeah, I was going to, while we're waiting to hear the call, that the last percentage of fuel is off. I was going to comment on Jesse's discussion about it was just the weather. I think during this countdown, there were more words said about the weather than everything else. I'm listening right now to a weather discussion in the background.
And again, for people wondering, if we knew that we did have bad weather, even from this morning, again, we do monitor this all the way down to the final minutes of the countdown. And with Florida weather being pretty sporadic, sometimes we have even hurricanes coming through or bad weather coming through and passing 20 minutes later and having good weather for a launch. So this is why we continued to attempt to launch today, but unfortunately for T0 today, weather was not
Allez, je vais ramener une moto au gang.
Yeah, and Jesse, this is John again. I dropped off to listen to a weather discussion. They were just giving the times. The lightning rule went green, so we could have gone without a lightning concern. The attached anvil rule cleared, but the field mill rule is expected to clear at 58 minutes after the hour. So that's another 4.5 minutes from now. So we were close, but we needed about 25 minutes later launch time. It does remind me, at risk of
Oh merde, j'ai allumé la moto.
people, but the old saying that says it's better to be on the ground wishing you were flying than flying wishing you were on the ground.
Putain, il y a encore 100 000 personnes qui ont quitté.
Safety first, always, and making sure that when Bob and Doug do fly, they are flying safely and as planned. So again, this is standard procedure for us to make sure that they do have a safe flight to the International Space Station.
All right, well, for now, we're just continuing to stand by, expecting the call that all of that prop has now been offloaded from Falcon 9.
Alright, venting vehicle tanks to nominal TPC set points for current ingress.
Mais comment je fais pour acheter des véhicules en ligne?
Still armed. Once the prop offload is complete, that'll be the next step in our procedures to have Bob and Doug begin to make their way out of Dragon.
Ok. Oh, je vais acheter des belles motos.
LD countdown 1.
J'ai juste pas envie. Mec, si elles se cassent, les motos qu'on a achetées, elles réapparaissent ou pas?
Okay, so we're ready for launch escape system disarm. As affirmed, ready for launch escape disarm.
MD copies, you guys are ready?
Ok. T'as dit que c'était quoi? Legendary Motorsport?
Team's ready, go ahead, advise the crew.
Okay, Dragon Space
Quoi?
X,
Sauter en dessous d'un
that
gars?
discussion. So with that, you are go for disarming launch escape system for section 2 of 5.100.
Ductase, puis... Ah, South. Ok.
Start being the launch escape system.
All right, that was the call we were waiting for, propelling off of Falcon 9.
Oh, ils ont des belles motos.
Doug Hurley, Bob Ankin now going to disarm
Ah,
the
il y a des
launch
motos
escape
gratuites.
system on Dragon. And once that's disarmed, those 8 Super Draco engines will be out of the mix.
SpaceX Dragon launch escape system has been disarmed into Alpha Decimal 3.
Copy that, we concur.
And showing then confirmed the launch escape system has been disarmed.
And Dragon SpaceX, with that confirmation, you are go to open your visors and proceed to section 3.
Okay, we'll open the visors and go to section 3.
Non, mais ils ont pas encore lancé la
Mais non, mais
fusée.
c'est annulé. C'est reporté à samedi.
Mais non.
Mais si.
Mais non, Pierre il m'a dit que c'était à pile.
As you heard,
Non.
Next launch anthem
Bob
from
and Doug can now open their
to
visors
2 p.m.
and get ready for
At
exiting the
museum.
vehicle.
At museum.
Again, they kept their visors on while the launch escape system was armed, while prop offloading
Mais
was
c'est le...
continuing, and that
Le
is just to
stream
make sure
officiel?
that they are safe. Now that there is no more prop
Parce que je regardais il y a 2 secondes et ils disaient que
on
c'est
any
pas
of the
vraiment.
vehicles, they are
Ouais.
safe to
Ah,
have
c'est super.
disarmed the launch escape
Je sais
system.
pas,
They
quand même.
now are getting ready
Et-
for that
Oh
crew
non.
Ah bah non, mais
to
c'est bon.
swing back the
Ah,
hatches
voilà.
open
du
for
pont.
them to egress.
SpaceX Dragon with an update. We're holding in 3.4 and we're ready for secret.
Non, non, prochaine tentative à 3h22,
We'll wait for the closeout
avec
team to
le
open the
décalage
hatch and
6
verify
heures.
clearance,
6h.
and then we can execute seat rotation.
À une demi.
Dragon cap. Dragon cap.
And there's that crew arm
Ah, mais oui.
swinging back towards Dragon. Once that crew arm is in place, they will be able to open the hatch on Crew Dragon.
Mais c'est pas grave. Les motos qu'on a achetées, on peut les retrouver où?
So that they can safely get out of their seats and egress the vehicle.
And we heard they'll have what they call nominal egress, so just the normal procedures for getting them out of the capsule. That means the same closeout team that was there to get them in will be able to assist as they come out. They'll arrive and get that hatch open, then they'll be able to rotate the seats. That'll rotate Bob and Doug pretty much forward, where they'll be in the original position that the seats were configured when they made their way into Dragon. It just gets them a little bit out